Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you're new here, I'm Riot. This week we've honestly pretty much only got silly things on the docket for y'all. And a little kind of housekeeping update towards the end after the pyramid probably. So, let's get started. Oh, first and foremost, and I've been looking at this even more today, Marvel Rivals Season 6 was announced. We are getting, of course, Deadpool. And I think it's like this week, too. And we have now been shown video of the entire kit for Deadpool. He gets to play any role you want because he's able to be used for all three roles. It goes crazy because not only is there that, it kind of feels like a 5D chess kind of play format, which is really fun. Saw someone on Twitter say, you need a PhD to play this character. And I responded to that tweet saying, or you just need ADHD, because I feel like there's definitely ADHD people who can keep up with all of that because of the attention span thing. So, you know, it's also very, very interesting that if you're playing competitive, okay, you know how you can ban a character in competitive. Each version of Deadpool, you know, Deadpool Duelist, Deadpool Strategist, Deadpool Vanguard, all count as 3 different characters. So, that's fun. I was speaking to my brother about Deadpool's kit and came to the conclusion that basically, yes, super OP character. That's why it's so hard to play him. That's why the character is super duper complicated. It's so that that's the way that they're trying to vaguely balance it, basically, is what it feels like. It's also just really silly goofy. Literally all of it is really silly goofy. Especially voice lines. He has like a Final Fantasy voice line. He has several voice lines that are just common memes, things like that. So it's really good time. Also, Twitter kind of broke for about a good 12 hours because part of the new season is they are releasing new accessories for characters who don't have them already. So Rogue is getting one of Gambit. However, it is his cat-made outfit from one of the Excalibur comics, I'm pretty sure. Big fan of that because, first of all, likely that we will get that skin for Gambit. Kind of feels like they're going to justify it with, like, Deadpool chose to put that one in because he knows what the people want. Which, like, he's not wrong. Twitter went crazy on that one. I'm not used to having a plant here. Oh my gosh. Okay. I should probably address that. If you cannot tell, I am house sitting. There will be 2 or 3 episodes this month that are filmed here. Just so everyone knows. Anyways. Shit's banger. Also, there's Marvel Rivals renders of Lockheed now, who is, for those of you who don't know, is a character who's on the Excalibur team. He's a purple dragon. Yeah. Also, people think that they might be teasing what is it? White Fox or Silver. I can't remember if it's White Fox or Silver Fox or what, but her and Black Cat, people think that those characters are being teased because of one of the art spreads they made. So you know, I do kind of hope they add Black Cat, to be fair, but meh. Oh, this week, Deltarune fans found out about Wachifield, which is, I believe, a Japanese comic, but it has the same yellow, pink-eyed cat face that is spread throughout Deltarune. So the fandom's kind of freaking out over that a little bit, which is really fun to see. Especially since at the beginning of this year, you know, Toby Fox was like, Chapter 5 will be done before this year is done. So 2026. So, you know, people are kind of escalating hype, which is great to see, honestly. Oh, I saw the most unfortunate thing, like, in the world. Not actually, but, you know, when something becomes mainstream that really shouldn't be, and then it kind of loses its oomph, or like people start making the definition of that word mean less and less because people are adapting it in a way that is not as in-depth or genuine as like the original people who go by that definition. You know what I mean? So this came from Heated Rivalry, of course. But the, like, so one of Sony's official accounts related or whatever, was like, people put together a board meeting to try, you know, about the soundtrack for Heated Rivalry. And the official account used the phrase "fujoing out." Hey, I don't think you understand that the cute little feels you get. I don't think you understand what fujoshi is. I don't think you understand what fujoshi is, because you think it's just like, oh, I like when boys kiss. Girl, there's a lot more than that. Anyway, I say that as someone who definitely fits in that definition. So, you know, is it related to gender issues? Probably. Personally, probably. But we are going to see a huge influx of people incorrectly using the term fujoing out or fujoshi because a multi-million-dollar media company used it flippantly. So we've been set back. Whatever. But it does suck because there are totally going to be people who are like, oh, me too. And then you say something that's actually fujoshi, like, aligning, and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? I just get really pissed off when that happens, because it's like, okay, you're going to use the word and you don't even know what it means. Are you for real right now? Ugh. Anyway, you can tell that I'm mad. Hypixel, yes, the popular Minecraft server, released the game Hytale in early access. I believe it's been like, I want to say 7 years of development, which is so much. And as far as I can tell, people who have, who have gotten into early access and are trying it out seem to be liking it, from what I can tell. I know that even Captain Sparkles, who predominantly quit doing Minecraft content, has come back for that game, which of course it's not exactly Minecraft, but it uses the same type of models and stuff like that. So that's really interesting to me, mainly because I forgot that it was in development because it's been 7 years. Just today, oh my god, I'm so sorry, y'all. I just smacked the microphone. As of today, which, as of filming, January 13th, as of filming today, the 3.0 update for Animal Crossing New Horizons came out. This includes things I've talked about before, like all of the Splatoon and Legend of Zelda, and I can't remember what the other, Lego, all of those like items and clothing are now in the game. The little hotel is in the game now. Things like that. There's new quality of life improvements to editing your island, things like that. So that's out today. I now regret leaving my Nintendo Switch at home because while I'm house sitting, because I totally would be playing that and procrastinating filming. But I forgot that it was coming out today. So that's okay. I'll do it when I get home. It's no biggie. It just got announced. Sorry, I'm saying like and a lot. My bad, y'all. If anything, that's proof that I don't script these. I just am like, here are my bullet points and my pyramid, and that's all that's on my notes. And wow, you can see that I wrote Deadpool really big. It's like a big splotch on the page. Okay, let's continue. Today, we got an announcement that, as far as I'm aware, I didn't see anything about this beforehand, but My Adventures with Superman will get a season 3. And that was announced today. I don't think they announced a day or anything like that, but I am very excited. They did announce that it was in production at least. So that's really fun. And then one of my homies and I, we're like doing book club with Marvel Comics. And because of that, she and I are sharing a Marvel Unlimited account. So with that, I've been able to read Uncanny X-Men, and I haven't read today's issue, but I did see spoilers. My homeboy Kurt's back in it, and I'm excited to see him, mainly because the art is really fucking good. I just wanted to touch on that because I will absolutely be locked on with that. So okay, let me see here. You know what? I think I'm gonna talk about the special thing, the housekeeping thing I mentioned earlier right now instead, to get it out of the way before we move on to the pyramid. Okay. I don't know technically how much I'm allowed to say yet, so I won't specify the why, basically. But there is an impending return to Twitch. By the end of the month, we shall say, I will be returning to Twitch. Before the end of the month, rather. Very specifically, before the end of the month. I will be making a return to Twitch. It's been literally like 9 months because I was more focused on doing this, and I kind of got into like a lull in creative energy. So I kind of needed that time to recharge, but I still wanted to keep at least doing this thing that I do every week. But I have an impending return to Twitch. Very exciting. As you know, I pretty much just play video games over there. My impending return to Twitch will be a specific game because I have signed up for something. I had this really long period of time where I went from being pretty ambiverted and not necessarily introverted or extroverted. And then 2 years ago, I just like really went on this downward slope into being an introvert, which I know isn't really coming across here because there's no one here while I'm doing this. So it's a lot more comfortable for me. But I had this real downward pull into being an introvert and not trying new things and not stepping out of my comfort zone or anything like that. So I really wanted to do that. And it was a thing where I was like, I'll put my name in the hat, basically. And my name got picked out of the hat, so to speak. So that's really fun. I'm excited for it. Once I know what I can and cannot say about specifics, and it's not like I'm under an NDA or anything. I just haven't seen anyone else post about it that's involved. So I'm trying to keep it. Let's go with under wraps just in case, because I don't know if I'm like allowed to announce that I'm a part of it yet or what, because I haven't seen anyone else doing anything like that. And I've never done this kind of thing before, so I'm not sure. You know how it is. But I wanted to share with the class because it's really exciting. I've been really excited about it, and then I kind of teetered off on my excitement because I was like, oh, I should probably not get this excited about it if I don't even know if I'm going to be participating. But now I do know that I'm going to be participating. So now I'm slowly ramping back up in excitement. I've been trying to, like, I remade Twitch layout and stuff like that, and I have to put that in here and I have to make sure it works. Probably gonna do that today, if I'm totally honest. But yeah. I may put out community posts just kind of saying, like, this is my schedule for when I'm doing this thing. But yeah, otherwise I don't think pretty much anything is going to change on here. As far as I'm aware, I'll probably talk about it during weekly hyperfixations, or either I'll talk about it during, or I'll talk about it right the week after, because the thing I am a part of is generally supposed to be like about a week long. And also I'm going to be streaming very, very frequently for a short amount of time, and then I'm going to be trying to find a regular stream schedule. I do have another housemate who streams, so we kind of have to work out times with that because I'm usually awake at different times. So it's probably not going to be an issue, but we want to just kind of collaboratively make sure that everything's going to be fine on that end. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to tell you guys about it. I just am not sure if I'm allowed to yet. Technically, it's not like outwardly bad if I do, but again, I would rather be safe than sorry. I'm not sure, like, it's hard for me to read, like, I've never done an event, like an event thingy like this before. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm allowed to say yet, because I don't think, like, they haven't like announced who was picked for the thing. So that's why I'm being super vague about it, but I'm very excited about it. And I wanted to let y'all know. Also, I'll probably be more frequently posting on socials just because I need to be doing a thing. But I'm very excited to do it. Anyway, I literally can't say anything more to my knowledge because I haven't been explicitly given the okay to do so. Again, I'm rather being safe than sorry, but you know. Let's move on to our pyramid. I'm also trying to keep this episode at a shorter length. I used to have all of my episodes for Weekly Hyperfixations used to be fairly consistent with timing, and I've really gotten off track with that. I think it's because I usually try to write down more notes than I actually need, because I like seeing the whole page filled, but I don't actually need it. So, let's move on to the pyramid. We're predominantly fictional with the pyramid this week. I just pulled out an entire eyelash, my bad. predominantly fictional with the pyramid this week. Happens. But let's get right into it. The first two things on the pyramid are technically spoilers for Final Fantasy Endwalker, or Post-Endwalker main story. I'm in the in-between in Final Fantasy. I'm in between the expansion of Endwalker and Dawn Trail, and there's a little section of quests in between, basically, that kind of lead you from one point to the other while waiting for the next expansion to come out. So my first character on the pyramid is spoilers for that. And technically the second one is sort of spoilers as well. Kind of. So we're going to get into it. First up on the pyramid is a Final Fantasy XIV character. First up on the pyramid is Zero. Yes, that is her name. It is her name because she didn't have a name. And a different character gave her that name because it's symbolic of a new beginning. Zero's really fucking cool. I'll be so real with y'all. I really do like the Reaper job class, mainly because I love me a good scythe, but she's really funny, honestly, as she's kind of, I'm in the part of the story where she's kind of developing, redeveloping her relationship with Earth, basically. Because she was on a different plane of existence, kind of. So she's reorienting herself with basically the material plane. And it's really entertaining. Because, you know, there's some things that she entirely doesn't get, but then there's some things that she's so very staunchly believing in, and like ideals and stuff, or just like, well, this is the way things are for me. And she's struggling to kind of adjust and integrate into a different plane of existence, which is really great. She's a little stiff in terms of interacting with other characters, but she's getting there, and man, is she growing on me. She's great. But I just wanted to put Zero on the pyramid. I know she's pretty much only in this part of the story, I think, as far as I'm aware. She hasn't shown up since. So I wanted to highlight her while I'm still in that part of the story. Next up on the pyramid is my absolute favorite Scion of the Seventh Dawn. Technically no longer Scions of the Second Dawn, or Seventh. Second? Where am I in my brain? Like, ugh. Next up on the pyramid is my favorite character, Estinian Varlano. Or Estinian Wormblood, whatever. I still use Varlano. Technically that one's correct, whatever. But the reason earlier I said that Estinian being on the pyramid was technically an Endwalker spoiler is that I am in Post-Endwalker and I am experiencing cutscenes with Estinian. I'm about to say a major Endwalker spoiler, so skip ahead like a minute or two, just in case. The big Endwalker spoiler is that every single character that you've been traveling with dies, and then you basically save all of existence, and then everyone comes back to life. So that's why Estinian being in cutscenes with like Zero and with Post-Endwalker is a spoiler. But Estinian's on the pyramid because he's my absolute favorite. I made a joke to my friend that I wasn't so much of like a dinosaur kid or anything like that, but I really like dragons. And also I like Dungeons and Dragons, and I feel like that has something to do with it too. But I joked that, oh, well, I really like dragons, so of course Estinian is becoming my favorite character. It was really funny. I really latched onto him for that one cutscene during Endwalker that I mentioned here. He was on the pyramid that week and everything because it was so funny to me. But now I'm realizing that so many of the characters you travel with start like outright flirting with your character. And I know it's so that like it gives fuel to the fire of like people can ship their personal character with whoever they want. But it is so funny to see everything start tilting in that direction after during and after Endwalker, more so after Endwalker because everyone feels indebted to you, but or at least a little bit feels indebted to you, but it's just really funny to me. And also I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV a lot because I mean I usually do, but I've been playing it even more because a friend that I had gotten into the game who took a couple months of a break from the game came back to it recently. So sometimes I'm working on my story and then sometimes I'm with my other friend who I'm reading the Marvel comics with. She and I will like go into dungeons with him and things like that. He really wants to get to where I am in the story, so which kind of helps the fact that I really like to slow down with my story experience, and this gives me an excuse to do that. But I do want to get to the area for Dawn Trail before he does. So I've got a lot of time. I've probably got at least a month. But also, like I mentioned, about a week of that time slot is going to be taken up completely by something else. So, you know, it be like that. But I just wanted to put Estinian on the pyramid because he's my Pookie. Also, I never used the word Pookie until my best friend existed. My best friend. She says that word a lot. And I had never said that word. And then one day, out of nowhere, I felt compelled to call her that. And now I say it. I just, yeah. It's funny when things like that happen. And I mainly say that because I'm like super far behind comparatively to when people started using that word, or more colloquially anyways. Anyway, next up on the pyramid is Kurt Wagner. He's literally only on here because the new issue of Uncanny X-Men came out, issue 22, and he's in it, and he's hot, and that's the tweet. And why did my phone go off? Ugh, it's because a different group chat popped off. Anyway, but that's why Kurt is on the pyramid, literally just because my guy showed up. In comic, he pretty, what of it? There's also enough in Marvel Rivals that's kind of pointing towards, at minimum, more X-Men being added. Like there's a Deadpool voice line with Jean where he mentions that Scott might get added soon, and then Lockheed is in the promotional material. And Lockheed is in Excalibur. Both Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler are in Excalibur, so that also kind of points to more X-Men. Either way, I'm super excited, and I really hope he is in my game, even though I don't play DPS, I play tank, but that's fine. I just want to see my little guy, okay? If anyone's curious, in Marvel Rivals, I mostly play Rogue and Angela. I'm mostly really good at Angela, that's where I have the most practice. Anyway, next up on the pyramid, though he would argue he should be first, which I don't entirely disagree with, but next up on the pyramid is Deadpool. No surprise there. Also, a side note, if you're hearing banging noises in the background of the video at all, because I don't know if the microphone picks that up, there's a cat door on the back door. So that's what that noise is. Anyways, though he totally believes he should be at the top of the pyramid, and I know he knows that, next up on the pyramid is Deadpool at slot number 3. Okay. Pretty obvious reasons here. He's coming to Marvel Rivals. He's got a super interesting kit. Literally the most versatile character to play, because you can play the character as any role, which is huge. Also, I mean, we have a character that can break the fourth wall now. So many other things in game can be teased through this. Not a joke. Like, they outright tease that Scott will be in the game. So I definitely think that this is a big move that they've made. A pretty obvious choice, but still a very big move and a very important move. Also, man, are they going ham with this guy. First of all, the zipper on his suit goes all the way around. Also, quit showing his ass to the camera. Part of the video of his kit in game is him deflecting Magneto's ultimate with his ass and taking a picture of himself while doing so. Competitive could be a nightmare at this point. I mean, I don't even play competitive, but there's no way I will now. Not with that mechanic. Anyways, Deadpool's on the pyramid because he would probably shoot me if he wasn't. I say that jokingly completely, but you know, that's why Deadpool's on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is actually, and both of these, the second and first place on the pyramid this week do have to do with people at the Golden Globes. Okay. And I didn't even pay attention to almost anything that happened at the Golden Globes. Cause it's whatever. But first of all, Hudson Williams, who does play one of the guys in Heated Rivalry, that's not why he's on the pyramid. He's on the pyramid because he was asked his opinion of AI on camera at the Golden Globes. And he immediately was like, no, fuck that. Fuck AI. That's gross. And I was like, thank you. Holy shit. I honestly put priority to people who have such a big platform like Hudson Williams does to advocate for anti-AI or, you know, being openly against things like genocide and things like that. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to highlight that because it does make a lot more of an impact than some people think for a celebrity to be so adamantly against something like that. It does genuinely have sway in people's minds, and it's very important. So that's why Hudson Williams is on the pyramid. Similarly, our top of the pyramid this week is Mark Ruffalo, who honestly should always be on the top of the pyramid for all of the advocating and activism he does. But at the Golden Globes, he wore a pin that said, I believe it said, "Do good." And of course, that was a tribute to Miss Wood, who was shot by how do I want to phrase that? I don't want to get bonked by YouTube as much as possible because I've never gotten any sort of thing like that on here. Let's go with, it was in relation to the woman who was shot by a man who has no defense, basically. Let's go with a man that should melt. That's close enough. I'm sure you understand what I mean. But He was wearing that pin in remembrance of her and to kind of call attention to it because she was outright murdered. And, you know, there are people trying to gaslight the world and say it didn't happen. So, not only of course, not only did he do that, but also he got in front of the second someone asked him about it, he also got in front of the camera and shared his distaste and distrust of what's going on in America right now on literally every level. And he was very specific. I am purposefully not being specific due to the nature of media today in this country. But I highly encourage you look up a video of what he said on the carpet. It's very important. And I am just so unbelievably glad that he did. I'm so glad that he did. He's really a trooper for activism. And I think a lot of people have started to just outright dislike or ignore him because of that, even though he's doing literally the most important thing he possibly could with his platform. So that's why Mark Ruffalo is at the top of the pyramid, because he genuinely deserves to be at the top of the pyramid. With that, we've concluded the pyramid. Honestly, that's all I have for y'all this week. To reiterate what I said earlier, I will probably be posting within the community posts a schedule for that big basically Twitch return that I have coming up. I may go live once before then just to make sure all of my things are working. But aside from that, I'll see y'all next week. Have a good rest of your weekend and have a good week next week. I'll see y'all next Friday. Yeah, I'm very excited about the impending return to Twitch, mainly because I'm nervous about it because it's outside of my normal comfort zone. But, and I mean, I'm sure y'all have heard this a million times, but it's important to go out of your comfort zone once in a while. Being overly secure and safe isn't really living. And I wanted to put myself out there a little bit, and surprisingly enough, I did, and it worked. I'm pretty sure even across all of my platforms, I am the least popular person in this event. So yeah, I'm surprised I got in. But I'm very excited for it. And I hope y'all will be excited too, because it's really fun. Yeah, like I said, next week, same time, same place. I'll see y'all then. Bye, y'all.